Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Selen from Unlimited Educational Services. I'm working as an academic coordinator for the Digital Solutions Department. Today, we are going to focus on some platforms, and also before step into the platforms, we're going to talk about something about the technology and gamification and technology in education. Then we are going to talk about the platforms. Then I will accept all the questions, okay? First of all, I would like to share my screen. Probably now you see my screen, right? Okay. And technology and gaming in education, as I told you. Our agenda is we're going to talk about the social generations, then the use of technology, gamification, and some platform, as I told you, and also the last session is going to be about the question and answer. First of all, I would like to give some very brief information about the generations, because, you know, the generations are so important because we are now we are focusing on the alpha generations. Could you mute ourselves, please? Oops. Probably okay. Yes. And as I told you, we're going to focus on the social generations, first of all, because, you know, now we are working with alpha generation. So they are so important, and we need to look in all the details of these age. Who are they and what are their importance? So we need to know as a teacher, if we know all the details about the who we are targeting. So if we if we know all the details, so our job will be, I think, easier, and all the things will be easier in our life. So as you see in the picture, there are 5 generations, and from the baby boomers probably, or the older the baby boomers, and we're going to skip the X generations, Y and Z, and then the alpha generations are on the page. And this is my family, my grandmother, my mom, me, and my son. So as you see, maybe if you have a chance, please try to have this kind of photo, you know, as a generations. So, you know, and there is a matrushka babies. So inside each baby there is another one. So it's a kind of, you know, the generations as well. So if we need to look at the details of alpha generations, as you see on my screen, they are the top gamer generations. As you know, the children, they really focusing on gaming. So they are play game, you know, the most important topic is game. And of course, while they are playing it, of course, they don't have any, you know, any extra topics what they are speaking. So these are the generation that speak at least. So just they are playing, just they are maybe chatting on the screen. So these are very you know, silent generations, as I told you. And although they speak least, these are the most educated generation. Why? Because the technology is on their hands. So if they need any information, they just write somewhere, and then they just get the information whenever they want or wherever they want. So these are the most educated generation from so far now. And of course, they would rather watch than read. For example, if you go to the classroom with a book, or if you tell them, okay, read the book, so they would not focusing on your page. So these are they would prefer watching, or they would prefer playing games than reading. And of course, the robots will be the center of their lives. As you know, for example, imagine yourself in our home, all of us, maybe we have some robots like air fryer, like cleaner, or something else. So we just started to learn these kind of robot issues, but they know it, they already know it. So the robots will be the center of their lives. Although they are working, they are playing with some, they are using technology, they give very importance reliability. So this is the most important part for alpha generation, because they don't have any, interaction face to face, because, they are just using Zoom or, these kind of applications, or they just, they have the interaction with online. So they know that they have to believe in someone. So that's why the reliability and transparency is they are the most important part for alpha generations. And of course, they just sit in front of the computer, and then they just see. Yes, Yeşim Hocam, thank you from your warning. And they, of course, they will attach the importance to doing business independent. They can work wherever they want, whenever they want. So the place, the time, and the space is not important for these ages. As you know, we just passed the pandemic period. So while we were in the pandemic, when we were in the pandemic period, we had no place, we had no time for our meeting. So for example, at 9 o'clock in the evening, we could have a meeting. And still we can have meetings now, for example. So this generation, they don't put any borders, or they don't put any limits while they are working on their lives. And could we mute ourselves, please? Because I really hardly focusing on my session. Okay. And I would like you to watch a video about the Z generations. Of course.
I was born in 2005. I belong to Gen Z, a generation born with complete technology. We have PC smartphones, gaming devices, tablets, MP3 players, and the internet. We naturally multitask. We text, read, watch, and work at the same time. A skill that stuns the adults. We like to express our feelings and thoughts and share them with the world. In our lifetime, we will not send a single letter by mail. But we would spend at least 20% of our time on social media. Having too many gadgets also has a bad impact. We rather stay indoors and use our gadgets than play outdoors and be active. We have terrible social skills. We are 10 times more likely to smile to a handphone than a person. Our attention span is as short as a goldfish. You have 10 seconds before you lose us. If I go to university, I will be looking at a heavy study load.
Yes. As you see, we have only 10 seconds to get the attention of the students. So,
Selen Hocam, siz sessize alır mısınız lütfen?
Hocam ben tek tek alıyorum da bu sefer yetişemiyorum. Bu sefer şey oluyor. Ben evet çalışıyorum. Bir saniye tekrardan bir.
Herkesi sessiz alırsanız problem yaşamayız.
Evet.
Şimdi kapattılar galiba.
Sanırım. Okay. Again, as I told you, we have only 10 seconds to get the attraction of the students. So when we enter the classroom, if you, for example, if you are going to teach something new, so you have only 10 seconds. For example, if you are going to talk about something, for example, the colors, maybe if you go into the classroom by using the technology, they would more focus than the book, of course. So let's continue. Oops. Okay, use of technology, as I told you. I would like to ask you, just you can imagine that, you can think about that. You don't have to answer or if you have any, answers, just you can write it on the chat box. Okay. For example, I would like to ask you, I would like to attract the attention of the importance of technology. So, for example, imagine that as you see on the screen, there is a smart phone, there is a laptop, desktop, and also the tablets. So imagine that. How many of them have you got? For example, how many of you, for example, I have just 2 mobile phones and I have only the laptop and I have the tablets. For example, imagine yourself that how many of them? You can write about, you can write the answer, or you can unmute yourself, then you can answer me. Two, mobile phone and laptop. Okay. What else? I have mobile phone and laptop, 2 of them, yes. At least we have 2, right? At least we have 2. We have mobile phone and also maybe we have tablets or maybe the laptops. So all except tablets, okay, yes, of course. And the other question is going to be, okay, the social media, for example. You see LinkedIn, the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also what do we have more? And Twitter, something like that. Some, the Snapchat or these kind of things. Then again, please, can you think about your social media accounts? Probably you have all of them, right? Probably. And also your students, they will have more, of course. So I would like to again talk about the usage of the internet. I don't have TikTok. Yes, I don't have TikTok, Gamze Hocam. But for example, one of my friends, he has a daughter, and then he would like to control his daughter. So that's why maybe he created a TikTok account. So sometimes the parents like us, and then we create some accounts because of just we would like to control our students or our son and also maybe the daughters. So that's why maybe we will have TikTok or the other things. Okay, and the digital headlines, for example, these are the February 2022 as a think about the Turkey, okay? Our population is 85 million, okay? And out of 85 million people, 78 million people, they have mobile phones. And we have 69.95 million people, they have the internet on their mobile phones. And also there are 68 million people, they have the active social media users. These are so important numbers because of our, about the technology. And okay, the time spending using the internet. We spend 8 hours in a day. Can you imagine that? We spend 8 hours in every day by using internet. I'm not talking about just looking at the photos or taking notes or some extra, using some technology. I'm just saying that spend time using internet, which is so unbelievable, I think, because 8 hours is a huge number. And as you see the other details, okay, the time spent watching television, time spent using social media, and time spent in reading press media. As you know, all of us, we have our smartphones, and also in our smartphones, of course, we have some documents. For example, the screen sharing or screen, the details. Each application gives you some feedbacks. For example, you spend maybe 1 hour in this application, so you can monitor yourself, you can manage yourself according to those numbers. Why do we use technology? Because the technology tools and applications offer a number of opportunities if used appropriately. So, for example, some parents they disagree. They don't believe in the technology in education, but this is so important because we talked about the Z generation, and also we talked about the Alpha generation's details, Alpha generation's importance. So if we go those these ages by using technology, so they would focus more than the book which we talked about it. So if we use technology, we get attention, and also it helps the children by taking visual information, and also very quickly. Those ages, they give very importance to visual memories and also the listening skills. So these 2 skills are very important for this age: listening and also the visual memories. So we have to put them together by using technology. If you use those kind of images, the students, they will start learning something easily, so they don't forget anything about what you taught. Okay, and it develops the planning, and also it develops the problem-solving skills, which is so, again, important. Because while they are playing some extra, strategy games, they just start to think about solve some problems. So this is very important. The technology develops the planning and also the problem-solving skills for the students. And of course, it contributes to socialization process for students again. The gamification. Why do we use gamification? We use gamification to make something simple. For example, if you have some difficulties to teach something, if you change it into the gamification, if you use some game elements while teaching, the students will learn easily. Because imagine your childhood, or imagine that if you have children, or if you have the cousins or something else. For example, if they don't want to eat something, what do? Probably you can play some games by yes, to attract the children's attention, of course, Yağmur hocam. For example, imagine again, if they don't want to eat something, what do? We just play the game. Okay, the train is coming, the plane is going, something else. These are the gamification, because we would like to solve the problem. We want them to eat something. But of course, if you say that, okay, hadi çocuğum, hadi, let's eat it, they don't want to eat it. So, but if you say that the plane is coming, the train is going, or something, these kind of the examples, the children will start to eat, and they you don't have to, maybe sometimes you don't have to push them. For example, my son, he doesn't want to eat, for example, bezelye, and I told him that, okay, this is a kind of ball, or and you like playing, you know, the football, and you like playing a basketball, so let's imagine that these are the balls, the green ball, and blah 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 blah, these kind of things, then he starts to eat it. So that's why I didn't push him, and I didn't say, okay, you have to eat it. Then according to so I didn't prefer the that way. So if we use gamification, we can try, we can solve our problems as soon as possible, of course. And why do we use, again, gamification? And according to 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓𝗏, who is the founder of gamification, according to him, he thinks that play is older than culture. This is the, I think this is very important thing, that because again, if you play the game, there is no problem. Then on my screen there is a you know, a picture that most people, they were suffered because of the you know, the hunger or the water. So they just solve their problem by playing game. As you see, some of the people, they are playing games, some of them are, you know, doing something, they are just play uzun eşek or these kind of things, and they just try to solve their solutions by playing game. So that's why if we want to solve something, if we want to focus on something, we would like to focus on something, if we play game, our job will be easier. And this is the history of game. So this is the are there any thing that comment that what is it? The first picture. Do you have any idea? Yes, it's a bones, which is the 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗏 bones. The people, they were playing game by using 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗏 bones in all the time. Of course, they don't have any, you know, the game controlling or something else. So in Turkish, we have a, you know, prompt that sen benimle aşık mı atıyorsun? This is, it comes from this bones. So what they were ancient, in the ancient times, the people they were playing with the 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗏 bones. Then of course, the technology time, we have some game consoles. And of course, there are some gamification things that, for example, people, the government, they don't want people to throw the old rubbishes in all around all the ground. So there is a playground for people, and each week the question is changing. For example, this week, who is the best player in the world? And next week the questions will be about, for example, about the women. So the teacher, instead of throwing something ground, they just come here and then put them, you know, put them in the bin. So as we want them to put it, but of course they don't do it, but we just try to solve the problem by gaming. Okay, so all the people, they just putting the cigarettes on the bin, and then the next page is going to be, of course, you know, children, they like playing basketball, as I told you. And then, for example, instead of just putting it, they just play the game by with basketball. And the other one is about the healthy life. So, for example, we tell them, we tell people, okay, do sports and do whatever you want, but just do sports. And although, you know, our warnings They don't do it. So there is a piano stairs, as you see on my screen. When people step into the piano, they create some music. So it's a kind of, again, the gamification. Of course, when they hit the stairs, they hear the voice. Then, as you see, there are many people that are using the piano stairs. So again, why do we use gamification in education? It motivates the students and also to participate in the lesson, because you are talking in the same language, because they see that, Selen hocam da internet kullanıyor. My teacher is also using internet. Also, my teacher is also using some, some extra games. So they would like to participate in the classroom, as I told you, because you are talking in the same language, and it gives the teachers better tools to guide and reward the students. Of course, as I told you, instead of using some, the printed materials, if you talk them about the internet, if you talk them about their, the technology, of course, it's going to be a better tool for you. And of course, there are, there are many things that about gamification, like points, badges, and leaderboards. For example, if you go to Starbucks, or if you go to some Foursquare, for example, if you do something, there is a leaderboard and you are going to be the winner, for example. These kind of rewards motivates the students. And also, of course, it combines informal and formal learning, because imagine that you are teaching and you are a teacher, but students think that, okay, I'm at the school, but we are using internet and we are using technology. So again, we are talking in the same language. So these are the, the teacher being teaching and using some extra printable materials. These are the formal teaching. And if you are using the internet, if you are using the technology, these are the informal learning. So you are going to put them together. So again, it's going to be more meaningful to the students, okay? And of course, it makes the learning process of the children more fun and permanent. So if you use some digital, if you are using those kind of technology materials, the students will learn and they will never forget what you taught, okay? And of course, if you have any questions, okay, if you don't have, I would like to just focusing on some two platforms, and I would like to just I'm going to just give you very brief information about the platforms, okay? And if you have any questions, just let me know at the end of the session, okay? Yes, the first platform is, the first platform's name is 𝗕𝗡𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗕𝗡𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏, it's a kind of the article platform. In each day, we told them, we tell our students, okay, just for example, watch some news or read some newspaper or these kind of things. And of course, they have to get some information than what's going on in the world. So, and what's happening in Turkey, for example, and what's happening in blah, blah, blah. So in each day, students will have 5 articles, and in those 5 articles, these are the latest news. For example, and Biden visits California after storms, because there was a storm in the USA. So Biden visits them. And if you okay, for example, if you click on the article, you are going to see the article. The students, they will read it. They will focusing on
evacuate
the vocabulary. They will have some vocabulary exercises. They will see the definition, and also they will hear the pronunciation. and the students can read each article, the same article in 3 different lexile levels. And there are some questions after each article. There are some the slideshow, which is the flashcards. If you click on the pictures, maybe you are going to talk about the about the article. And if you click on video,
I want to thank you, Governor. You and I, along with the Vice President, have been in close touch since this storm hit, and even before.
They are going to watch the video related with the article. And there are different language options: Spanish, French, Arabic, and Chinese, and also next year, maybe next year, the German will be on the platform. And if you click on Read to Me,
Biden visits California after storms.
Can listen the article. And of course, there are sources. And if you click click the highlights, you can highlight it. You can save it. You can print it out. You can draw something. And they ask Russ. Russ is the chief editor of 𝗕𝗓𝗟. So if you have any questions, you can ask him. Okay, and then he's going to answer for your questions. And there's a teacher's guide for each lesson, for each article. There are teacher's guide for you, and there are some questions which are different from the comprehension questions. They're like open-ended question, the discussion, and also some vocabulary that you are going to focus. You have to focus on. And students' activities will be on the platform. These are printable, and of course, again, open-ended question, discussions, and of course, at the end of each article, we have find the 5 W's and how: who, what, when, where, why, and how. And also, again, each article we have KWL chart: what I know, what I want to know, and what I've learned after I read the article. And if you click on assign, it's going to be easily assigned by you, or we are going to assign it. Nice app, as it, yes, for all levels. For whole levels, we have a different article. And according to lexile, if you change the lexile, of course, all the documents, all the questions, all the, extra, the comprehension questions are going to be changed according to the level, according to lexile level. And I think the most important thing is, for example, if you are not happy with the questions, okay, if you want to, for example, if you want to add more questions, you can. For example, while you are assigning the homeworks, if you want, you can customize the comprehension questions. For example, you can add multiple choice questions, and also you can add open-ended questions. If you create the answer sheets, the system will assess the students' results. Okay, so optional, but you don't have to create some extra questions. These are optional, but if you want, you can. Let's continue with the student side. Should we create Google Classroom account in order to? No, we are creating all the students' accounts. So you, as a teacher, you are not going to create any students' username and passwords or something else. And we are going to create all the students and all the teachers. And if you want, we can, for example, we can assign all the homeworks, okay? And let's go back. There are 5 items, as you see, tip to toe. For example, Biden visit, the oldest dog on earth, and blah, blah, blah. And if you click on this one, you can go back. You can go yesterday, for example, and 18th of January. Then there are, let me count. There are more than 18,000 articles on the platform. And of course, if the students buy this platform, they will read all of them. So imagine that in every day there are 5 articles, multiple 7 days, 35 articles in each week, okay? And if you click on search, there are filtering. You can write the keywords, for example, the nature. If you click on filtering, okay, all categories, there are some topics around the world: discovery, sports, US, kids in the news, backyards and animals, and blah blah blah. And also the date. If you want, you can sort according to the dates. And okay, how many articles about the nature? 4 pages, and each page 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 14, 16, 18, 80 articles about natures. We can find it. If you click on games, we have 3 different games for students. The mystery words, it contains the vocabulary, which are the key vocabulary on that date. Okay, so for example, you saw the underlined words. These are the key vocabulary. So there are some important games. It's the vocabulary games again from the article. And the puzzle, play the game, and on this date. For example, guess when this happened. January 23rd, on this date, Madeleine Albright becomes the first female Secretary of the United States. Her job is to work with other countries to make more peaceful world. When did it happen? Let's imagine. Okay, so it gives the children, it gives the students general culture about the world. Then there's a newsroom, which is, I think, so funny thing for students. As I told you, I mentioned that I talked about Ross. And Ross is, again, the chief editor of 𝗕𝗓𝗟. So students can write, if they have any questions, they can write to Ross. For example, would you ever run for 115 days? I don't know if I have the energy for that, Jordan. And hi Ross, Patrick again. The oldest dog on earth was amazing. I love dogs. I love being on 𝗕𝗓𝗟 because I learn new stuff all the time. The oldest dog on the earth is probably my favorite article. If the students, if they have any questions, for example, if they didn't see any article about flower, they can write to us. I would like to see some article about flower. Okay, of course there is a filtering for us. The students, they are going to, they can write to us, and then after, if it's okay, then they will see their the questions on the screen. The students cannot answer there is no interaction between the students. The interaction between only Ross and the student, that's it. The students, they cannot write any comments between themselves. Okay, and if they have any questions, they can click to us. And there is another part, that pictures of the day. The students, they just draw some pictures related with the article. For example, New Year and Josephine, Adelaide, Blake, Canary, Lennox, Lime, Parker, Lily, Shana. And there are, I saw there are many Turkish students on the platform. So if they want to draw something, they just click to draw in here. Again, after a kind of, editing process, their pictures will be on the screen. The students, they can write something and they can draw something in here. So because they like drawing. Yes. The units, I think this is the most important part for Nomic. If you click on raw subjects, and there are, different filtering: social studies, social emotional learning, science, languages. And if you want to know something about poetry, if you click on it, you are going to see something about poetry. Okay, so these are the the filtering again. These are the titles, the purpose behind the poetry. Then according to your wishes, according to your needs, and according to, your curriculum, you can filter, you can search some keywords, and then you can use all the articles in Nomic. Do you have any questions about Nomic? I'm checking the chatting parts. Are there any different topics like TOEFL tests? Hayır Yağmur Hocam, we do not have for today, of course. And also Nomic has its own application, and the students, they can use Nomic with offline version if they need it. Okay. As a teacher, of course, there's a teacher's side. The teachers will assign the article. They will get feedbacks, and of course, they can get very detailed reporting for each student. Then you can share with the teacher, with the parents, of course. And if you don't have any questions, I would like to just again give a very brief information about highlights. Maybe you used highlights before, but of course we have very new updates for highlights library. Although it's a kind of digital reading platform. I think there's a questions about highlights, Yağmur Hocam. Highlights, as you see on my screen, although it's a kind of digital library, of course there are many videos in highlights library again. So which is let me show you first of all. When you log in the system, you're welcome, Yağmur Hocam. When you log in the system, there is a dashboard, and in the dashboard you are going to just a quick check for last 30 days. For example, how many, of course, these are the demo accounts for me, but for example, when you log in the system, you are going to see your students, how much time did they spend on the platform, the number of the books read, and also the activities will be on the page. These are just a very quick check. And these are the very user-friendly systems. As you see, for example, what would you like to do today? If you want, you are going to read reports, you are going to create assignment, and also you are going to read books. And if you click on books, just a very brief information. In writing activities, Hocam, there are some writing activities in highlights as well. And also in Nomic, of course, there are some open-ended questions, and the students, they can write something. They can write that they have a option that they can write something, okay? And when you click on the books, as I told you, and as you see, the books are on the page, there is a filtering button again, which works very perfectly, I think. There are 30 levels in highlights. In each level, we can find some categories: school, people and places, arts and culture, science and nature, and blah, blah, blah. We can filter according to series, according to Lexile, CFR. And also if we are doing some PYP, we can sort. And also Readers Plus, which is going to be mentioned. And of course, videos, word count, and page count. So it works really well. And for example, if you want, you can sort by according to CFR levels. Just click on A1 and apply. Then we're going to see some books related with A1 level. And for example, if you want, you can search some keywords about school, for example, we can find extra, things. And in each book, there are some options. If you click on information, you are going to see the level, the Lexile, word count, page count, and also all the other details. And you will see the description of the book. And you will read it, then you will have the quiz. But we have another series, which is called Readers Plus. In Readers Plus, you will see, for example, read, quiz, speaking, listening, and thinking exercises. If you click on, of course, let's do it, read, the students will start to read it. At the same time, of course, they can
Quill's backpack.
Read it and they can listen to the book. You can underline, you can highlight a word by word or sentence by sentence, okay? If you click on, you will see.
I take scissors. I take markers.
You will see the key vocabulary, which is going to be mentioned, of course, by the teacher. You can arrange the speed. And there are some questions. Can the books be correlated to the... Yes, hocam. Hatta, let me show you one example. I finished, for example, today. I would like to show you, for example, in these books, I did, for example, for first week, I'm going to give you the levels and also the series, the Lexile, word count, page count, the description of the book, and also the key vocabulary. Then if you want, of course, I'm going to do some curriculum mapping according to your book. So I think which is going to be easy for you. And okay, after we read our book, we are going to have the quiz, and also we are going to do speaking activities. The speaking activities, the students, they are going
Click
to
start to begin the activity.
They are going to listen to the sentence. Then they are going to record their voices. This is a kind of, let me say that this is not a voice recording, it's a voice assessment, okay? So the system assesses the students' voices and it gives the feedback to the students. Let me show you.
Listen and read, then record.
I take pencils.
Ready, go.
I take pencils. There are 3 levels: great, good, and neat practice. Then it gives the students the feedback according to students' pronunciation, according to students' stress about the vocabulary, and also intonation. So as a teacher, you will be able to listen to students' recording, and also, if you want, you can give feedbacks to the students' recording as well. And the other one is listening exercises. The students, again, they are going to listen the sentence, which is unscrambled words. Then we want them to put the vocabulary, put the words in order to make the whole
Listen
sentence.
to the sentence, then unscramble the words in the sentence.
I take pencils.
If you click on submit, the next,
I take paper.
then they will see the things. And the question is, are there any storybooks for secondary school? Of course, hocam, we have. Let me show you. For example, just we filter the A1 level. For example, let's click on B1 level, which is going to, I think, which is suitable for you. And for example, I don't know, Through the Ice, for example, the level 18, it's B1 level. Read it. There are more than 3,000 books. So we can find, for example, we did some different levels. In first week, for example, the units about the animals, for example. We did some curriculum mapping to books for each levels. There are 3 different levels in here. And as you see the Lexile, for example, we offered 2 for lower levels, 2 books for medium levels, and 2 books for higher levels. So we can find many books for each level. For example, this is one for secondary school. The other question for the quiz, can I get feedback? And I mean the student score. Yes, hocam, of course. While you are checking the feedback, while you are checking the content, the answer, of course, you can get the feedback for the students. And the other one is the thinking exercises. If you click on thinking exercises, there are
Click
some
Start to begin the activity.
open-ended questions, again, for students. The students, they are going to write the answers. Then as a teacher, you are going to get some, you can give some feedbacks. And let me show you the videos. There are 6 different categories for videos. We have Did You Know, Brain Play, Make It, Where My Ask, Highlights, Kit, and also the animations. If you click on animations, the students won't be able to watch the video before they read the book. So they have to read the book first, then they are going to listen, and they are going to watch the animated books. And there are, as I told you, there are some, videos, which is, I strongly recommend you to use those films, those videos as a kind of classroom activity. We are just putting the input to the students. For example, we are just giving the simple present, simple past tense, all the vocabulary, all the structure. But of course, we want them to produce the language. But sometimes, of course, it depends on the students. But sometimes it takes too much time. Why? Because we don't give the chance to produce the language. So at the beginning of the presentation, I told you that the technology, for example, if you use a technology and if you talk the same language with the students, they, as soon as possible, they will start to produce the language easily because you are talking on the same language. For example, you can create some groups, Ask, Highlights, Kids, for example. Then there are some questions. Of course, at the bottom of the page, we have more videos like Ask, Highlights, Kids again. And for example, you can create some groups. Then you can ask your students, for example, making a new friends. You will create some common problems for students. For example, you will ask them struggling with math, or what does being a big sister mean, or mean friends, or ask away from far away from a friend, for example. These are the common problems with for the students. So let me play one of them, then you will understand me more. Okay, there is one of group of children.
As highlights kids.
The question is,
Wyatt S. from Atlanta says, my older brother is really good at math, but I'm bad at it. I'm very jealous that everyone calls him the smart one. What can I do? In my opinion,
maybe after the question, you just stop the video and then you will ask your students, okay, how can we solve the problem? You know, it gives a chance to students to do some critical thinking activities. We support it. So what maybe we are doing some MEN Model United Nations things, or these kind of debate questions are on the platform. Or maybe you can ask your students, okay, now we've finished all the questions. Now we want you to create your own common problems. Then, okay, the other groups will try to solve it. So these kind of activities, if we do it, these kind of activities, of course, we just push our students produce the language, which is so important again. And the other videos are brain play. There are some strange questions for students. Maybe we didn't ask them before. For example, smell memories. Again, another question, another thinking activities for students.
Brain play.
What is the question?
What smells remind you of things?
Okay, then again, stop it, then turn the class and ask your students, okay? For example, what smells remind you of things? For example, what do you think when you smell the cheese, or, I don't know, perfume, or...
the smell of like banana bread, it reminds me of my grandma's house because she always makes banana bread.
Eggs remind me of restaurants. Cheese reminds me of cheese.
Some strange answers will be on the page. Then again, your students, they would really love to give these kind of questions, some strange questions, answers. And of course, and I'm sure that there will be some, you know, most of enjoyable, you know, question. The answers are going to be on the classroom. So again, while they are enjoying, while they are having fun, they can produce the language, and of course they can start to learn the language, because they would like to join the activity. They would like to, you know, add something. They would like to say something, because, you know, the children, they would like giving some, you know, extra information about themselves. So while they are giving some extra information about them, they would like to maybe something they would like to know, and they would like to learn the vocabulary or those kind of structures. So just live the language. Some did you know videos are on the again platform. There are some activities for people, for students again. Maybe they didn't know it before. And do the kids read the books they choose, or however you wish, Hocam? You can assign, or they can they can watch the videos. I don't know. It's again, it's up to you. There are 2 ways. Then make it. We do it as a classroom activity. Sometimes we ask our students, okay, now this week we are going to have a project. For example, when you go home, let's cook something and then just record it. Then after you come to classroom, just watch it. Or there are some experiments we can do with the science teacher. So you can have some collaboration with the other topics like science or math or physical education or something like that. So for example, egg drop. There is an experiment for students. The students, they are going to make some experiments with the egg. Then again, you can ask your students to do the same thing without breaking it. Then again, turn your classroom. Okay, how can we be successful to drop the eggs without breaking it? The students will start to think about and they will have a group work, they will have some individual work. You have many ways to do those kind of exercises. The other part is, which is my favorite one, who am I? There are some occupations in here. So again, we give 5 clues for to the students, and if they choose their levels, will the platform suggest them? Oh, yes, hocam, aynen. We need to know the students' levels, and according to the levels, we are going to assign the student videos and also the books. And again, there are some vocabulary. There are 5 clues for students. Then they are going to try to find the occupation. Okay. For example, let me show you one of them. I'm going to ask you, please try to guess it, and please try write the answer on the chat button. Okay.
Can you figure out who I am? Some
clue.
people think of me as a detective. My tools include hammers and brushes.
Second one.
You can usually find me outside.
Third.
I dig in the ground to find clues.
Fourth. And the last.
I work with animals that no longer exist. Who am I?
Yes. Farmer. Any other guess? Archaeologist. Sure. What else? Teacher. Okay. Archaeologists. Any other ideas? Archaeologists, I'm sorry. No. Sinan Bey, do you have any presents for our teachers, anthropologists? Sure. Hocalarım, Sinan Bey will have the present if you give the correct answer. If they can guess, okay. Sinan Bey, I'm sorry. No one. Okay. It is
A paleontologist.
Because it says that I work with animals that no longer exist. You missed it. So, you know, those kind of activities, the students, we give only 5 clues for students. The 4 of them are common clues, and the 1 of them is special, just the target of the vocabulary. So while we are doing those kind of exercises, the students, if they didn't know the vocabulary, they would just look it up from the dictionary. So we just did the vocabulary exercises. So, for example, instead of doing I couldn't do it. Instead of, for example, instead of asking students, okay, write the vocabulary, write the words for 3 times, or please use it as in the sentences. Instead of doing these old-fashioned method, these kind of activities will work properly. So a job I heard for the first time. Good hocam, harika. Then these kind of activities will give you a chance to know or to learn the new vocabulary, and those kind of activities will give you extra, very, biz bilemedik, çocuklar nasıl bilsin? Hocam biliyorlar valla. That's why I told you these are the most educated people, because while they are playing with the games, they know all those jobs and all those, information that maybe we didn't know it or we don't know it. So that's why we need to go to students with the technology. So that's why. Of course, ben de, before I start to do the presentations, because I didn't know that vocabulary before, but while I'm doing the presentations, I've learned it. So that's why the technology is very important. And let me show you to show the last things for oh, what happened to my screen? What's going on here? Oh, okay. I don't know what happened to my screen. And the last thing is for teachers. I'm sure you really love it. For teachers, we bought dictionaries, but we told it even boring to me. Checking on the dictionary, this would make it fun. Kesinlikle hocam. Kesinlikle. If you click on book resources, there are many books which has extra printable handouts, okay? What do we have, for example? We have a lesson plan. We have teaching master. We have multiple choice question, and also we have oral reading assessment rubric. If you click on lesson plan, we can see before we start reading, while reading, and after reading, okay? There is a teacher's guide for teachers, again. And for example, before reading, which activities I'm going to focus on: the vocabulary exercises, word study, fluency. Then during reading activities, I'll read, for example, prepare to read. We haven't started to do the activities. Then while we are reading, there are some activities, for example, some recommended activities between page 2 and between page 5. Then during reading, there are some again activities. Then we'll have the after reading activities we'll have. The teaching master is some extra activities. Let me say that it's a kind of introduction to literacy activities will be on the page. So for example, we can do some character analyze, the scene analyze, or these kind of topics, these kind of exercises will be on the teaching master. And after, in each book, we have 5 questions, multiple choice questions, but in this multiple choice questions, the questions are different from the digital. These are printable and also editable. So maybe sometimes we have 5 questions, sometimes we have 20 questions, and sometimes there are some multiple choice, and also some of them are open-ended questions, okay? And let me show you the thing that I downloaded, for example, together. Oops, okay. Yes. There are some activities, some, for example, drawing activities for students with the answers, of course. We want students to do those kind of activities. These are for just lower levels. If you choose higher levels, you will see, as I told you, there are many different different and also literacy exercises. Let me show you. For example, the first one, the higher levels I would like to show you. Any questions so far? While it's opening, I would like to ask you if you have any questions or not. No question? Okay. And while it's opening, I'm going to focusing on the other parts. Yes. There is a Teachers Academy in Highlights Library again. And if you click on support, if you click on Highlights Library Academy, there are different topics. For example, using videos to support English language learning, and also classroom settings and also assignments. The Readers Plus, for example, teacher walkthrough of Readers Plus activities and students walkthrough of reading activities. And also, how can students and how can the teachers or the parents can use Highlights Library at home. So there is a, as I told you, you can download it, then you can have, maybe you can give some feedback to the parents, then locating and assigning social emotional learning titles, for example. So this is the Academy for Teachers. And this is the most important part for in Highlights again. If you click on students from registration, and for example, if you want to look at, for example, Sinan's account, but I don't know Sinan's username and password. If you click on login, you may go directly to students pages, okay? And in students page, for today's book, it recommends to students according to their level and according to their interested areas. The system advises kind of books for students. In each 10 book, the students will have different batch, different kinds of batch, and also they will see their profile, they will see the reading history, and there is a parent support. If you click on it, the students' parents, if they write their email address, they will get weekly or monthly report from Highlights. Okay, they will see the progress of the students. Yes, let me show you the example of the extra printable handout. We have 21 pages. Fact and opinion, for example, is a fact and opinion. Authors with viewpoint, for example. Context clues. There are some extra activities will be on the page, and also there are some extra reading activities again will be on the page. Then we'll have a extra reading part, and with the answers, we'll see it. The last thing is, we talked about two different platforms. We have support team, digital support team. If your students will have any questions about the platforms, they may forget their username and password, they may maybe they have some difficulties logging the page, or any technical questions, we have support team. So please, as a teacher, do not answer any questions from your students. Even you know the students, for example, username and password, please do not give any answers, technical questions, because we have a call center, we have a chat button, and also we have mail address. So the students, they ask us weekly. I know hocam. Ama if you answer any simple questions, because I know that you are a teacher, then you would like to help your students, but For example, if you answer the username and password, be sure that second question is on the way, maybe even on Sunday or Saturday, I don't know. So please do not answer any questions. And so the only questions should be academic questions. And evet Gamze hocam, they can never memorize their username and password. But if you use any platforms, I will talk about the 𝗕𝗓 with the 𝗕𝗓 hocam. If you use any digital platforms, we can do SSO, which is single sign-on. So they don't have to have any other username and passwords. So we can manage it. Then if you have any kind of platforms, we can easily integrate our platform. So they don't have to have any other username and password as well. I think I'm done. Any questions? No question. Rica ederim. Gamze hocam. Bilge hocam. You're very welcome. And thank you for your time. 𝗕𝗓 hocam, would you like to add something?
No, thank you. You told everything. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. I think we out of our time, 15 minutes. And thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, you can directly send me an email. You're very welcome. And okay, see you soon.
Hope to see you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.